Good evening, everyone. This is Maurice from the Triple M Model Railroad. Today we have something out of the ordinary, something I have not done before. And what you see here is an N gauge locomotive. And this is the first time I'm actually working or was working on an actual N gauge. And this model came from Willis Hobbies. And I was working on it this afternoon. And I realized, wait a minute, I could have just done a video on the process of working on this model. And I just totally forgot about it. I just got quite entrenched in it, fixing this model. And this model came from Willis Hobbies. And I'm doing work for them, fixing their some of their models and doing decoder installs and so on. So, great group of guys. Check it out if you can, if you're in the tri-state area. Well, especially if you're in Long Island, Mineola, Long Island. You can stop by Willis Hobbies and check the store out. So it's a great place. And saying that, this is a pretty nice model, very simple. It's a GP38-2 by Bachmann, and it has a tsunami decoder. I believe it's the Tsunami 2. And what was the problem with this model? Well, the rear truck was shorted. That was the problem with the truck. That was the problem with the model. And, I took it home and I took a look at it, and I was trying to find some information on Bachmann's on how to repair them or how to disassemble them, and not a lot of information online. And so I kind of regret not filming the process. It's not rocket science, but it's just you just gotta pay attention to what you're doing. The rear truck was shorting out, not the front truck, but the rear truck. And I took a look at it. I disassembled it. Actually, I disassembled the whole model. There was no information on disassembly. That was just another weird thing. They either had Cardo or models from Atlas and even Lifelike Engage, repairs, but there was nothing on Bachmann. I won't say nothing. I did manage to find one article. It wasn't a video, it was actually an article on how to roughly disassemble the model. Basically, the body just comes right off. You pull it off with a little effort, it will just come right off. I don't know if you can see, but there are little clips. If I can get like a little pointer, let's see. These little tabs in there will actually pop the trucks out. You just push on the tabs, and the trucks, easily come out. And it has very tiny screws, very, very small, tiny little screws. Especially, I don't know if I can get it to focus. There's a screw for the decoder. There's two of them that holds it down. One is right there, and the other one, as I can see, somewhere over here, right about here. And then you have three screws that basically, one here, here, and here, that holds the chassis together. And also there's a speaker housing on the bottom, which also has two screws. But first you got to take the two screws from the housing, speaker housing, and the two screws for the decoder. Actually, you really do the decoder first. take the 2 screws, and then you take 2 screws here, drop the enclosure, and then remove these 2 screws. I mean 3 screws, sorry. These 3 screws here. And half of them, you know, you can see the model is the chassis is basically halved. So you just pull it apart. And, you know, I was just trying to find the short on this model, and come to find out, it was the truck. The truck was the actual culprit. Now, what I did was there's these little, like, you know, pads, or these, what you call them, shoes that rub on the wheels. Now, for some reason, this truck, the wheels were a little concocted for some apparent reason. I don't quite understand why, but the contacts act like springs, so it basically centers the wheels, but it wasn't centering the wheels properly. So I bent the tabs so that they have more pressure on both sides of the axles. Actually, there is another piece that you have to remove to show the gearing, and also get better access to the contacts. So I use an X-Acto knife to stretch them out, and I put it on the track. Actually, just the bogie itself, the trucks itself, I just put on the track, because before, if I just put the bogie on the track, you know, without the locomotive, that actually produced a short. The program, my lock program, will basically turn off, or actually the power would turn off to the lock programmer, which I found very interesting. But once I did what I just explained, it actually eliminated a short. But I created a new problem. I created another short, and I didn't realize it. Now, when you take these assemblies models, there is actually 2 rubber grommets that basically encircle each end of the motor. Those rubber grommets, I don't know if you could see it here. Actually, you could. There's one here, right here. Okay, so that's a rubber grommet. And if we can see the other one is right here. Now, in these slots, right, this is where the motor sits. Unfortunately, again, I should have shown this, but I was basically in the process of learning how to do this. Those grommets have to be perfectly sat in it's like a little cradle that's inside of this chassis. It has to sit perfectly in there. If it doesn't, you're going to have a short. The motor is not isolated from the chassis, and it's going to short. So you have to make sure. That's why these little windows are here, so you can actually see these rubber grommets. They have to be visible when you assemble the chassis again. And once I did that, this thing powered up, and it works beautifully. Now, hopefully, if I put the shell on, it will work just as well. So I'll just show you how it works. I can't believe these little things have sound. I'm just amazed by it. Okay, got the lights. Yeah, I had to. It seemed that the coil was already. Turn on the rear lights. All right, let's go in reverse. And it runs. Forward. I'm gonna have to make some motor adjustments, the coefficiencies and all these different things to get this to run nice and smooth. And I'd adjust the sound, equalization of the sound, because these are very small speakers, so you don't need a lot of power going to them. Yeah, so basically it's working. I'm a happy camper, and the client is going to be very happy too. And that's what we all want. Okay, that was just a quick one and done. I apologize for not showing actually the model being worked on, or the more or less a step by step process. But there's no real videos on how to disassemble and work on these Bachmann N scales. But hopefully the information that I've given will give you some idea on how to do this. It's not very hard. You just have to be very careful, and there are some things I'm leaving out. But it's if you're paying attention, you will see basically what you have to do. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Have a good evening. Peace.